Hey everybody, Mark here from Friendship Shaving. Thank you very much for joining me for this straight razor shave on the channel today. And if you are just beginning your exploration of straight razors or thinking about using one for the first time, I have a recommendation for you today. So I'm going to be using and recommending my folding feather type razor, and if you watch the channel regularly you will have seen this razor before. It was recommended to me and it's one that I keep in the channel, and I think if you're thinking about using a straight for the first time you will like this, and it's something you'll keep in your den. I have a vintage Erskine brush today, and the lather I've got is fantastic, and it is an Ariana and Evans aquatic fougere called Monte Carlo, and we'll put some of that straight on. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing very well. I've got a nice fresh scent today with this Monte Carlo, and it is, as I said, an aquatic fougere with citrus notes centered around citrus, amber and patchouli. Scent notes centered around citrus, amber and patchouli. And then it dies down with a bit of ambroxan, geranium and vetiver, and it is similar, it says, to Dior's Sauvage. Now, when I think of Monte Carlo, I'm thinking of perhaps the motor race in there, thinking of Steve McQueen, perhaps. Steve McQueen's favourite scent was the old Eau Sauvage. I'd love to have some of that to see how it differs. But the soap scents these days seem to be based on the new Sauvage rather than the older one. Now it is a bright, lovely scent. There's definitely a bit of an aquatic feel to it when you first put it on. Just going to add a drop of water to this. Now it's been about 4 days since I've had a shave, so I've got a lovely lather, but I want to make sure there's lots of water in it, so we're just going to add a drop more water as we just spread this out, and that will do very nicely. Lovely old brush, this Erskine with a silver tip badger. Really great for just pasting on. Now I will explain why I like this cheap little razor quite so much as I go along. But and you guys that are shaving with a straight razor, you will know as well as I do, when you're first thinking about trying a straight razor, there's so much to think about and it can be a little overwhelming. I found that to be the case. If you're looking for a new razor, it can be very expensive. Let me just get started. There we are, we've started. If you're looking for a new razor, I was saying it can be very expensive. the minimum I would say would be £100. But you could easily pay £200–300 and above for a new straight razor, and for something that you're not even sure that you're going to use or continue to use, for something that you've not even tried yet. That can be off-putting, and certainly a lot of money. The other options seem to be buying a razor on eBay, and that is fraught with danger, shall we say. If you're looking for a vintage razor, chances are it will need restoring. And even for a vintage razor, you can pay a lot of money if it's a particular brand that is popular. Maybe a double duck or a Puma, something like that. It could cost a lot. And while there are occasional bargains on the bay, they will nearly always need restoring, or at least need honing. And the other option is to buy one of the Chinese straight razors, and they, although they may say that they are shave ready, they're not usually. So again, you may need to know somebody that is able to hone a razor for you. You'll need a strop, of course, to keep the edge of your blade in good order. And that's even before you think about buying stones to keep it sharp. And it can be quite a rabbit hole. Believe me, I have been resisting. Especially when it comes to those stones. They can be really expensive as well. So for myself, when I was starting out, I found all of that really quite mind-boggling. You know, the first strop I had got ruined really because I was a beginner, and I cut it with the blade as I was stropping, because that takes time to learn, of course. And the next one I had was a little travel strop. And I did make it last, but really it wasn't up to the job. And the strop I've got now is lovely, and it was kindly given to me by Paul, and I'll put a link to Paul's channel below. When he got a new strop, he kindly passed this on to me, and I'm very grateful for this. It is a really nice strop, but depending on the leather, that also can be a lot of money. So there are a lot of things to think about when you're first thinking about getting into or trying out a straight razor. So the other option are things like this. Now this takes a Feather Artist Club style blade and Feather are a very well-known company. They sell razors of this style, but they are expensive. And this one here is a little Chinese copy of that style of razor. And the reason I like it, well, primarily it is a fantastic shave. If you can see the edge of the blade there, but here is a little ridge, and it's just made perfectly. If you rest that and touch the blade to your skin, it's absolutely brilliant. It just slides over the skin with no issues at all. And it gives me an incredibly smooth shave. So this was bought from AliExpress, and it was £11 when I bought it. So I'll try and find the store I bought it from and put up a link. And it is a much cheaper way of experimenting with this style of razor. You know, it will enable you to work out how you wish to hold it. Some gentlemen shave like this on the opposite sides. I know Johan from Shave and Butcher is such a gentleman. Shaves with his straights like this, finds it much easier. Whereas I like to use right hand, right side, left hand, left side, except on the chin there, going against the grain. And the other really fantastic thing about this type of razor is that you can buy a variety of blades to go in it. Now, I've got a Chic Pro line. Blade in here, which is very nice. Second use on this. I hadn't used one until quite recently, but they are nice. Something a little bit different from the feather blades or the Kai blades. Now what I like about this is you can buy different blades. And experiment till you find the blade you like, and some of the blades aimed at beginners or those with sensitive skin have a minute little guard made of such thin strands of wire that sit around the blade. It's really hard to see. Make sure the blade just sits on the surface of your skin and doesn't catch. Of course, it's still important to stretch your skin with these, just the same as you would with a normal straight razor. So all the things that you need to practice for shaving with a proper straight razor, you can practice on one of these with the blade of your choice. And I think that it's a really good tool for learning. And for £11, I'd suggest it's maybe not going to break the bank. Now I've sent my razors off to, well, a majority of them, off to my friend Dean, who is going to be restoring some for me and putting an edge on them. And if you decide you are going to go that way, rather than spending a lot of money on stones and the like, and honing yourself at the beginning, and even when you send them off, you've still got this one you can shave with. So it's maybe one that you'll always keep in your den. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's very well made for 11 quid, let me tell you. And as you can see on my face, I'm going against the grain on my cheek. So certainly not an aggressive razor. Now my feather razor, I actually passed on when I got this one. I didn't find it as comfortable as this. And I had it for a few years, and every time I used it, it was okay, but it left me a bit sore. And this one just doesn't at all. So it seems to be angled just perfectly for me, thankfully. Stretching, of course, is really important. You maybe won't need to do it with a safety razor, because you've got the safety bar, and that leads in front of the blade and stretches the skin for you as you shave. But perhaps if you're using a razor with a large blade gap, you might still find you need to stretch the skin a little bit. But of course, with any type of straight razor, you don't have that safety bar to press the skin as it leads the blade, so you have to do that yourself. But that little razor is my recommendation for you if you are thinking of starting out and just having a go with a straight razor type of blade. And there are razors like this that take half a DE blade. I prefer this type because it's got the longer blade, and I feel it is more like a straight razor shave. And also I find that out of all of these types of razors that take a blade, this is the best one that I've tried by far. So like to get some more, but we'll keep that in the den. I've had a great shave. So Monte Carlo, an aquatic fougere. What am I going to use with that then as an aftershave? Well, I don't know. I've been thinking about it. Been thinking about those old racing cars from the 60s. The ones that were just like a little cigar on wheels. Love them. But actually, I'm going to use a little touch of Davidoff cool water, because when I first smelled that soap and smelled this, there was definitely a likeness between the two initial scents. So I'll just put some of this cool water on. Throwback to the 90s for me. But it still remains a very nice scent, and this is the aftershave version, which is a lot less expensive than the eau de toilette. Very nice indeed. So that is my straight razor shave. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you very soon. Take good care of yourselves. Bye bye now.